All right, so welcome in everyone to the GamerUniversity Open #2. I am Fireflash, joined with Hari from DotaLive.net. We're going to have Potm Bottom on the Radiant side taking on Team Luskus on the Dire side. And really quickly here, we see Brewmaster being banned out by Potm Bottom and Lycan banned out from Team Luskus. Potm Bottom definitely the favorites in this match, but you can't count Luskus out. I mean, they did get here into the finals, and they have been playing very well as of late in these tournaments that have been run. So another Furion ban now coming out from Potm Bottom as well.
Yeah, only a couple options left. Really, we'll have to see if the Chen actually does make it through. Seems possible at this point, although maybe TL will end up banning the Chen out with the last ban since they already have taken the Enchantress. And then, yeah, I assume we'll see either Leshrac ban or pick as well, given that I don't think this is going to be another game where Leshrac makes it all the way through.
Yeah, I mean that was very very interesting to see yesterday. We had a game, if any of you weren't here, that Leshrac wasn't even in the picks or the bans yesterday, and it's just very very odd to see that. As like I casted at least 60 to 70, watched 60 70 games as well, like, and it's just I've never seen a Leshrac not be in the pool at all.
Yeah, I mean, that hero just, once people realized how much damage he does to towers, immediately came into the scene. And the fact that he's so versatile and he scales pretty well as far as early end heroes go, especially given his flexibility and scalability. It's just a great combination. But yeah, taking a lot of time on this third ban here. I mean, the third ban, arguably more difficult to decide on. Well, not arguably, definitely more difficult to decide on than the first two. I mean, the first two you still have some time left, but the third one you really have to make sure that you get the hero you really want to take out of the game and not let the other team have the potential of picking.
Exactly, and something to note today: their captain for Potm Bottom, Fogged, is back today. He was not here yesterday, so they were playing with a stand-in MTW Kebab. Fluffy Tiger Shaped Clouds, who he always tries to pick something clever for his name, is way too sexy. And Chaos Knight gonna make it through. So Lefty in the chat gonna be able to get what he wanted. He wanted that Chaos Knight, and we are gonna see Chaos Knight in competitive play here in the grand finals.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether Chaos Knight can get some nice early stuns, getting the higher end of the spectrum on his stuns early on and turn those into some ganks. And obviously, even without reliably hitting high stuns, it's still that his W, the swap, is just so strong early on, being able to take people out of position. But then an immediate Chen and Enigma pickups. I mean, the Chen I would have thought was debatable for a first pick, but Chaos Knight going over that leaves Team Luskus with no choice whatsoever but to pick up that Chen now of their own and have a pretty strong push and team fight lineup so far.
Yeah, and I mean it's definitely strong for them, and if they can get Leshrac as well with that, it's just going to be very very dominant pushing power from Team Luskus. But I mean, we did see the Enchantress and the Darkseer banned out, as well as the Invoker, while we were talking about the Chaos Knight and everything. So I mean, now it falls back on Potm Bottom here, and to see exactly what they're going to pick up here in counteracting the Chen and the Enigma.
I mean, Leshrac doesn't fit amazingly into a Chaos Knight lineup. Well, it kind of does. I mean, you have to put Leshrac in support, which actually works. It's not amazing, but it can. I mean, then you could also put the Leshrac mid, although that's certainly less common these days. Still, you really don't want to give the opposing team Chen, Leshrac, Enigma, because, I mean, having the Leshrac plus Enigma for team fights is insane, and then having Leshrac plus Chen for pushing is also pretty insane. So we'll have to see if they do decide to pick up that Leshrac kind of defensively and kind of offensively, or if they're just going to take heroes like Ancient Apparition, who actually has a great ultimate for countering the Chen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely characters we're not seeing too much in the competitive scene as of yesterday out of Potm Bottom. I mean, we saw Lepuck, we saw an Ursa ban out of Potm Bottom, and plenty of other like Silencer, as we were talking about earlier. And the Earthshaker picked up. I was talking about that yesterday, how we really haven't seen an Earthshaker picked up in competitive scene in a while, and there he is. And Team Luskus going to pick up the Morphling.
Yeah, the Ancient Apparition also makes a lot of sense with the Chaos Knight, obviously. I mean, when teams actually do get to run Chaos Knight, it's kind of popular to see them pick up Ancient Apparition because he has such a long duration stun. It's pretty much a guaranteed cold snap. Or cold feet, actually. Cold feet snapping, whatever you want to call it, freezing to the ground. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it makes sense. We'll have to see if that's actually going to be a more traditional. I mean, we don't really see tri-lanes that often anymore, at least not standard tri-lanes with the heroes actually staying in there. But we'll have to see if they do decide to set up that Chaos Knight, Earthshaker, which is an extremely strong tri-lane, and how Team Luskus will respond to that with their Morphling pick.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling's definitely a very mid to late game carry. I mean, he can definitely out carry a Chaos Knight if done correctly, but it's going to fall back on his support here from Team Luskus to be able to really help him through the early to mid game.
Yeah, Chaos Knight is definitely going to scale up faster, quicker. I mean, I would generally say Morphling has the advantage over most carries in the first few minutes of the game when his waveform is so strong he can dive effectively by being able to morph up additional strength for survivability. But even with all that considered against Chaos Knight, I still don't think he has an advantage early on. So we'll have to see if they decide to try to avoid if they set up a tri-lane on the Radiant, avoid that tri-lane because they don't really have a chance of fighting it. I mean, they're going to have Chen in the woods anyway, so they're really going to only have a dual lane, which is another argument in favor of avoiding the tri-lane, because if you have a dual lane plus a jungle, you're just going to be outgaining the opposing team.
Exactly. Cutting into the reserve time a little bit here was Team Luskus. They're going to ban out the Storm Spirit, Leshreck being banned from Potm bottom. Another thing with this Earthshaker pickup I really like is because the Chen creeps plus Enigma's demonic conversions are going to add to Earthshaker ultimate in team fights, and it's just going to be very, very powerful.
Yeah, Earthshaker is definitely going to have some great opportunities to get an ult off on a lot of a lot of units. We'll have to see if he is able to pick up that blink pretty early or not. It depends kind of, I mean, if they're just in a traditional tri-lane, he's not really getting anything. If they try to roam with the AA Earthshaker, it's more likely. Although AA Earthshaker isn't necessarily the best roaming combo because it all relies on the effectiveness of the Earthshaker's Fissure. If you can get a good Fissure block, then you're going to have a kill with that roam. But if he doesn't, then you're not. And that's basically true whether you have the Ancient Apparition with the Earthshaker or not, which is why typically you don't see Earthshaker plus another hero roaming combos. But we'll have to see if they do decide to do that here.
Yeah, and the ban going to be Lich from Potm bottom. Lich definitely a character that adds to the team fights with his ultimate, and very, very strong in the lane control early on, and can really shut down a carry if sent mid, say against Chaos Knight AA, he'll be able to really counteract that lane.
Yeah, and great late game as well with the ice armor. Just scales so well as the game progresses for protecting your carry and throwing that up on Morphling. I mean, Morphling already has so much effective HP through morphing strength that giving him additional armor and the attack speed reduction on the Chaos Knight, who is melee, is just going to be really brutal. So, I mean, it makes sense. And then Queen of Pain banned out. So, really wanting to ban out those mobile ganking heroes on the Storm Spirit and the Queen of Pain is Team Luskus. It really shows that they don't want their carry getting ganked. They just basically want to play a farming game as much as possible. Maybe they'll push early on, and then they'll kind of just transition to mid-game farming, and they don't want Potm bottom to have anything that can really set that off and turn it into pushes of their own.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what else Potm bottom picks up here for their carry. I mean, they have some of the supports with the AA Earthshaker. They really don't have a mobile run-around ganker like Vengeful Spirit unless they do roaming Earthshaker, but they're going to pick up the Windrunner here.
Yeah, Windrunner makes a lot of sense. They still need a sacrifice lane, and why not take Windrunner? Windrunner really strong against Morphling, being able to lock Morphling in for such a long duration if you do manage to get a shackle shot off. And playing against Chen, Windrunner is very strong as well. Obviously, having power shot to slow down pushes is strong, but also with all those Chen creeps running around, it makes it very easy to land shackle shots in team fights, which is certainly something that Windrunner will be happy about. So now they're just basically looking at either another side lane to go with that Earthshaker if they do set up that Chaos Knight AA. So you could see something like a Mirana, or they will actually just maybe grab some sort of a solo hero for the mid, but we're going to find out in 5 seconds.
And Beastmaster picked up again, so I mean that adds to the pushing power with the help of his Boar and his Hawk. It's going to give map awareness early on, and his Roar alone is great initiation to follow up with the Enigma Black Hole. And Alina coming out from Potm bottom here.
Yeah, Lina getting a little bit more popular lately. Strong against Chen and Enigma. I mean, the ability just to basically nuke down one hero immediately in the beginning of a team fight is really good against team fighters like Enigma and Chen. Chen in the sense that if you nuke him down quickly or nuke someone else down quickly, his heal isn't going to be effective. And then Enigma, obviously, just taking him out in the beginning of the team fight means that you don't have to constantly be positionally aware and avoid the black hole. And then, yeah, the Beastmaster pickup. I mean, Beastmaster, a very strong hero. Also, even though arguably a little bit stronger on the Dire, where it's a bit easier for him to stack those Ancients, which is probably what he'll be doing in the Sacrifice lane.
Exactly. And for Team Luskus, what do you think they're thinking here about picking up? I mean, they're cutting into their bonus time, and what's their mindset going into this match against Potm bottom with the picks that Potm has?
I think, yeah, they're really just looking towards the late game. I think they'll try to take a couple towers early, like I said, with the Chen, and then they're just going to try to farm the Morphling as much as possible and keep the game going later and later. So I would assume this is going to be some sort of a support. Well, it's tough to say, actually. I mean, it's possible that they'll just put the Chen and then have the Morphling solo, maybe in the safe lane, and Enigma in the jungle, although I think that's less likely. I think at this point we're probably going to see an Enigma mid, and that means you're going to grab some sort of a support like a CM or a VS to roam around with that Morphling. I mean, VS would make a lot of sense here since you already have the Beastmaster, that great aura stack between the VS and the Beastmaster. Certainly a possibility, but I mean, anything is really a possibility. I still lean towards a support hero.
I mean, Crystal Maiden would be good here to help, but I mean, if you take a look at the Radiant side, they really don't have that strong carry. And they have the Chaos Knight, but they have a lot of support to fall around that Chaos Knight. And if they can keep him alive, it's going to be very strong in that later game.
Yeah, we've got 10 seconds left, so I guess we're going to see what it is they decide on. They do go for the Crystal Maiden after all, so yeah, deciding they wanted to forego the Aura stack possibility just for a slightly stronger early game Crystal Maiden. Just Crystal Maiden's so good with Chen going once Crystal Maiden gets level 2 to set up those smoke ganks and to take that presumably top tower. And she also has a long distance, basically, engagement capacity. I mean, she can initiate from a long distance very early on, which is very effective when you're with a Morphling who can also engage from very far out.
Yep. All right. And while this pause is going on, I'm going to go ahead and take over the Radiant side and let us know who's playing what. We have Fog, the captain, on the Ancient Apparition. We have Sneaking playing the Windrunner. Way Too Sexy is going to be playing the Lina. And AUI is going to be playing the Chaos Knight. Kizzle's going to be playing that Earthshaker. And I did find out that it's not AUI 2000, it's AUI.
Okay. I didn't really know either, but yeah, thanks for the heads up on that one. Meanwhile, on Team Luskus' side, we do have Noya playing on the Enigma, Hawaii on the Chen, Heste Joe Rotten on the Morphling, Exorti on the Crystal Maiden, and Hasu, who is standing in for them on the Beastmaster. Presumably, at least Snaking likes to claim that is Hasu Obs, who is a famous StarCraft 2 player. Is that actually true, or...?
No, I think he was just trolling.
Yeah, I mean, that is Snaking style to troll a lot, so that would have been kind of too good to be true to see Hasu Obs actually playing Dota 2.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like we're going to see 4-man go top at the moment right now, and for Potm bottom, not really doing too much right now, just sitting in the base, getting their items they need. It looks like we're going to see probably 3 go to the bottom lane. So, I mean, we got to be careful here with Sneaking. He does have that win run level 1. And it looks like the interfaces should be up and running with the team names and everything for you guys now. I did realize I didn't have that up for you guys.
Yeah, I'm still a little interested to see how exactly they are going to be setting up their lanes on the Dire. I assume based on the amount of regen that the Enigma has and the Ring of Protection that he will be soloing. Maybe since he bought that Ring of Protection, he will actually be soloing potentially top, and then they'll send maybe the CM Morphling mid, which is a really classic lane. Kind of started by the old It's Gosu when they would put the CM along with Korok's Morphling in the mid. So I think that's a possibility at this point, although generally speaking you would see them prefer to be around where the Chen is in the jungle and have the Enigma mid, so we'll have to see how they do decide to end up setting that up. And then meanwhile it will be Fogged actually going mid on the Ancient Apparition, so this is a really old school Ancient Apparition play. Basically, the idea here is to get Ancient Apparition level 6 as quickly as possible and to use that ultimate to nuke down enemy heroes and to counteract the early Chen ult.
Yep, I agree completely, and it's going to be interesting to see that Ancient Apparition. And we saw it a lot with Dendi early on in the Na'Vi scene, and haven't really seen it too much as of late. I mean, the International came out, and we saw AA picked up almost every single game, but now AA not really picked up too much as there's more heroes coming out to affect the meta in the Dota 2 scene at the moment.
Yeah, the problem is that basically as it transitioned into more and more of an early game pressure type of game that everyone was playing, you really just needed that the reliable stun early on. You didn't want your support to have a stun that was set up by another hero.
Exactly.
And yeah, so because of that, Ancient Apparition did fall out of favor, but still going to be effective, certainly with his ability to completely dominate a melee hero. I mean, as melee, playing against Ancient Apparition in a solo lane is just horrendous because anytime you try to run in for a last hit, assuming he has mana, he's just going to throw up Cold Feet, and it really forces you back. I mean, Cold Feet forces anyone back, but the fact that a melee hero has to get in so close just makes it that much easier to Cold Feet them up and force them all the way back. And as you can see, Hasu already at half health and burning a Tango, and not really having an easy time at all against Fogg's AA mid.
Yeah, looking at the lanes set up really quickly, we have Hasu playing the Beastmaster mid against the AA. Top lane, we have Sneaking and Kizzles playing that Earthshaker Windrunner top against Exorti, and Rotten going to be playing the Morphling CM. But hang on, we're going to have a small gank here. Tornado coming in. Waveform as well coming in on top of Kizzles. They're going to be retreating now is Sneaking and Kizzles.
Yeah, and the CM Ice Blast actually just barely missing, or Crystal Nova, whatever, just barely missing the Earthshaker, actually, so it wasn't enough to slow him down. That would have been enough damage to kill him. Unfortunately, they did miss that. And you can see that the Dire has actually decided to put the Enigma in the jungle. They've completely forsaken the bottom lane here, understanding that they basically have no way of getting any gold or experience in it early on anyway, thanks to, I mean, going against a Chaos Knight lane is pretty much always a recipe for disaster. That hero is just so strong early on, essentially having a Vengeful Spirit swap at level 2, as well as a very reliable and strong stun. They just didn't want to send anyone down there because they knew he would end up dying, and that's one of the reasons that Chaos Knight is such a strong hero, is because of his effectiveness in the early laning phase. So just completely ignoring that, at least until the lane pushes a little bit closer to the tower, and now the Enigma is going to head over here and try to pick up some experience, as he'll probably deny a creep wave and pull it into the tower, except the lane has actually been pulled by the Lina, so I'm not sure that he should have headed over here yet.
Yeah, we see Crystal Maiden was top there harassing the Windrunner a little bit. We're going to see Earthshaker probably come back in and around, as he is going to be doing that roaming role. Over here, though, Chen is coming in for a potential early gank here. You just have an Ursa Warrior potentially here in this minicamp.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, the lane is just pushed a little bit too much, which is why at this point I would expect to see him grab that Ursa and smoke up with Crystal Maiden, come in from behind and set up a gank that way. The problem is ganking like that against an Earthshaker is just so risky. I mean, one good Fisher and you can really just get screwed. So it looks like he has opted not to do that yet, although I would guess that he has to at some point, because I mean, that's why you pick up a Crystal Maiden with Chen, is to get those early ganks, so we'll have to see. I mean, the Earthshaker is just being really effective in that regard, and he's actually roaming mid now to try to set up a gank on this Beastmaster. Beastmaster could be in a lot of trouble if the Fisher is proper. Is it? Yeah, it is going to be on the correct side. Will the Cold Feet trigger it? It is just barely not, and the CM does TP in time. Beastmaster is just barely blocked there, but the threat of the CM thrown out by the Crystal Nova was enough to force the Ancient Apparition back and save the Beastmaster's life.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a clutch TP in there by Crystal Maiden to be able to save him, and I mean, it's sad to see that the Cold Feet didn't proc there for him, but I mean, that could have been a first blood kill guaranteed. We see Sneaking trying to come in here on Hawaii, though. Hawaii getting caught out, Sneaking coming in. Crystal Maiden is coming up, though, and we will see oh, and yeah, first blood is going to go to Sneaking. Chen also going to pick up the Windrunner as well, but Potm Bottom taking the first blood there on the Windrunner.
Yeah, nice play by the Windrunner. I mean, generally speaking, you don't really want to trade Windrunner for Chen necessarily, but when your Windrunner is up against a tri-lane, or, well, 2+ jungle, I mean, getting any sort of kill is pretty advantageous for your team. And we can actually see that the Ancient Apparition has gone for that, basically the Dendi build on Ancient Apparition. I mean, there was a lot of variation between some players, even when, I mean, when it's support, they pretty much always are going to go Cold Feet. Oh, and actually, hold that thought for a second. Windrunner actually getting gone on top. Test of Faith going to come out. Windrunner still is going to be fine, though, and she's just going to pop a health potion up. The health potion actually canceled by one last right click from the Chen, but she will at least survive. But yeah, as I was saying in the mid, whenever you're support AA, you're pretty much always going Cold Feet and Ice Vortex as early as possible. However, when you do solo mid, it is a possibility to go Cold Feet stats, just because you're not really going to be using the Ice Vortex for anything effective, and it's just kind of a waste of mana. You'd rather just use Cold Feet with that mana instead for additional harassment, and having those stats will give you a little bit more survivability and a lot more spammability, as well as slightly increased capacity for last hits.
AA ultimate is going to hit top. Earthshaker stun does go off, though. The Fisher does miss, but we are going to see the 3 heroes retreat back. They were trying to do a potential push there. But as you said earlier, that AA ultimate just not allowing the pushing power here from Chen and his support team.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a really early level 6 on the AA, and it's just been great for their team. They've completely nullified Chen's ability to take that top tower. Great setup by Potm Bottom with the Earthshaker Windrunner top, and it's just made it completely impossible for Chen to actually do anything effective coming out of the jungle here. And he's going to look for it again, but really at this point he should probably just be farming. We actually are going to see CM TP down to the bottom here. Lina and Chaos Knight going to turn around, and Chaos Knight did get the stun off. The coordination was slightly off from Lina and him, but he is actually going to manage to pick up the Crystal Maiden, but he's actually trapped all the way in the woods now. Does Reality Rift, Reality Rift actually is the name, wow. Reality Rift a creep and gets his way out of there. So a nice heads up play by him using that Reality Rift to get out of there. And they are going to trade basically 1-for-1 on supports.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a key thing. Earthshaker getting caught out of place, though. Fisher coming down. AA ultimate coming in. Gonna hit, and Hasu will have to retreat back to base. He is getting really low here. Will it kill him is the question. It doesn't look like it, though. And he is going to retreat with 154 HP.
Yeah, still no successful kills with the AA ult, but it's such a low cooldown that it's not really that big of a deal. And the AA is just going to continue farming in mid here. Going to have level 7, which will be level 4 cold feet soon enough, which will make it a lot easier to get some kills if he does decide to end up roaming around. Although generally speaking, your AA just kind of farms for a while in the mid to get up that fast mech usually. Oh, and actually the Enigma is going to be in a lot of trouble here. If he had his ultimate, there's a chance they might be afraid of him. But with no ultimate, this hasted Luna is definitely going to be the death of him. Fisher comes out, and a light and strike array will be enough to finish off the Enigma. So another quick kill for Potm Bottom puts them in a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, I mean, the Potm Bottom looking strong right now. Experience difference 1,000 in favor of Potm Bottom at the moment. Looking at creep kills, though, we see that the Chaos Knight is up to 41 creep kills, 37 on the AA, and we see only a 30 on the Morphling at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the Chaos Knight has farmed exceedingly well. The problem has been, oh, and actually we're seeing another AA ult flying in here top. This one is not going to do as much as it could, though, because the distance wasn't really great enough for it to be wide enough and hit everyone. And actually, they are going in on this Windrunner here, but there's no way they're going to be able to continue this up. Shackle Shot is going to latch the CM to a tree, but it is only level 2 Shackle Shot. Not going to last that long, but enough to actually finish off the Crystal Maiden with the coordination from Lena. TP is going to come in from the Earthshaker. Earthshaker could stun the Morphling, but not really going to accomplish anything with that. Really can't kill Morphling at this point. Still, as I was saying, the fact that they've continually tried to pressure this tower with Chen rather than just having the Morphling farm has made it so that Morphling really has missed out on that kind of free farm-ish that the Chaos Knight has been getting bottom. And Chaos Knight, already with 4 points in Chaos Bolt, 4 points in Reality Rift, has his treads up and is very close to actually finishing his drums as well. So he's going to be really strong really soon.
Yeah, and Hasu is going to be able to get this bottled Invis rune here. He is level 7, going to be roaming top, try to get a roar on the top lane here and see if we could pick off a gank as well as push the top tower. But it looks like he will just fall back mid for now.
Yeah, that Beastmaster is going to have to do something with his ultimate soon. Actually, is TPing bottom right now. They are going to go in on this Chaos Knight. Ult coming out from the Beastmaster. Malefice is already off. Will the Chaos Knight be able to get out of here? Pops his one, charges. Great Shackle. Snaking, TPing in to save the Chaos Knight's life. Great anticipation there by Snaking, TPing in as soon as they saw that TP out of the mid.
Hasu's invis, though. He's going to try to come in here and snipe the Chaos Knight, but I don't think he'll be able to get there in time as Chaos Knight is running away too quick, and it looks like he will just get away.
Yeah, Chaos Knight actually has insane base movement speed, so pretty difficult to catch up with him, which will only be furthered as soon as he does pick up those drums. Top tower looking like it could be going down here. Earthshaker gets a nice fish off. Crystal Maiden is really dead. It does go down to the Ancient Apparition, and actually the tower might survive thanks to the Earthshaker Fisher. Morphling forced back a little bit, taking some harassment, will survive. But yeah, the tower is actually going to be fine. Let's see if they do actually just let this get down into deny range, but no, they have pulled the creeps past, so they are going to try to hold this tower for as long as possible.
Yeah, and AA will just rotate back middle lane right now. He has 48 creep kills at the moment, 1,100 gold saved up, and he is level 8 currently.
Yeah, pretty well on his way towards that mech, which I assume is what he will be going for. And actually just purchased something on the courier, which is just finishing up his treads, actually. So if he's going mech, he's not showing it just yet. But no reason not to just sit mid on this AA at this point. Beastmaster does have his ult back up, but does not have enough mana for it, so he's pretty safe here. Could have, oh yeah, and he actually, I was gonna say, could have created himself a healing salve, but he actually did, so he will be at full health, and he'll be feeling really confident. Earthshaker actually with a smoke gank coming in on the mid on this Beastmaster here. AA would really like to wait for that rune top, but they're not gonna be able to go for it. Will the Fisher come out in time to actually trigger the cold feet this time? Yeah, and ooh, the Chen ult, I'm not sure if that hit actually before the AA ult tapped him or not, but either way, the Beastmaster does go down.
Yeah, the Chen ult went through, but Beastmaster just took way too much damage there. The Cold Feet proc with the AA ultimate, and he will just fall down in the mid lane again. So 6-2 right now for Potm Bottom.
Yeah, Potm Bottom taking a very commanding early lead here. I mean, kind of what we expected from the favored team, but it would be interesting to see what TL is capable of doing with these picks they've made. I mean, again, they just really have kind of underutilized this Chen. They can't really have a farming Chen in the sense that like the Asian teams like to kind of, or not all Asian teams, but some Asian teams really just love to have that farming Chen just to get that fast level 6 because it has such a big impact. But you're playing against Ancient Apparition, so that's completely negated. And at the same time, this Windrunner Earthshaker lane top had just nullified any potential to push. So the Chen really just done nothing. I mean, that's their first pick. It's kind of their most important hero and determines exactly what they want to do in the game, and it hasn't done anything. This top tower is going to be denied as well. AA ult actually flying in. The tower doesn't get denied because they're actually going after the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden going to die But Morphling might actually turn around here on this Lina. Shackle Shot not going to latch anyone. Chen will have a test of faith in 1 second, but Morphling actually waveforming through, and actually they pick up the Windrunner as well. Meanwhile, though, actually the Chaos Knight did get a solo kill on the Enigma bottom. Morphling is still chasing after Earthshaker, but Earthshaker is going to be just fine. So in the end, 2-2 trade, but in the top, a 2-for-1, and they didn't actually deny the tower. So a little bit of a misplay there from Potm bottom.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Crystal Maiden go down, but in the favor, the Morphling ended up picking up a kill or two there top, and I mean, I'll trade a kill for a Morphling any day over a Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Ancient Apparition is going to go for the snipe on Beastmaster here. Will he trigger this in place? It is actually going to hit. Beastmaster will go down. Nice sniping there from the Ancient Apparition. Little questionable by Hasu, not kind of taking an irregular path there. I mean, he has to know he's playing up against an Ancient Apparition, and at that low of health, of course, after seeing him leave the mid lane, the Ancient Apparition is going to be looking for that snipe. But I guess it's just part of it of not the Ancient Apparition being shown very often in the competitive scene anymore is that players just aren't accustomed to having to deal with that.
Invisibility.
Kizzle is just going to pick up the Invis rune, so they're going to try to see if they can set something up here. We see Lina and Earthshaker both middle laner at the moment. Sneak King's farm doing pretty well so far on the Windrunner. He has 34 creep kills, but mid lane going to try to get a gank here on this Chen.
Meanwhile, though, Apparition is actually going to get a kill bottom on Crystal Maiden. Meanwhile, the Morphling is trying to turn around on him, but a 3-second stun from Chaos Knight might actually be enough, and it will be enough. Meanwhile, though, action is going on in the mid. Chen is almost dead. One more right click from Lina will be enough to finish him off. Malefice stun on Earthshaker. Still, though, the Enigma just is spoiled for choice, but not actually able to finish anyone off, even with the help of the Chen creeps.
Meanwhile, down here bottom, Beastmaster going down as well to Aoi 2000. And a double kill going to be coming in for the Chaos Knight there.
Yeah, Chaos Knight already has his drums up, so he's moving just really fast. Didn't even have to pop a drum charge for any of those kills. Earthshaker actually going to land a Fisher on this Enigma here, but there's nothing for the Windrunner to shackle him to, or to shackle to him, so just going to have to let that Enigma get away.
Yeah, and that Chaos Knight just farming up as much as he can. He's currently 4-0 right now with 70 CS.
Yeah, I don't know. He's really just going to start taking control of this game very soon here. We'll have to see what he opts to go for after these drums, whether it will be going for an armlet or maybe something like a Manta. Ancient Apparition all actually flying in the mid will hit on both these heroes. We'll have to see. Yeah, Shackle Shot is going to latch. Great coordination there from Snaking and the AA. And Windrunner could be in a little bit of trouble with all these Chen creeps coming with only one ensnare and no other. Well, they got the Catman Stomp, but no, it's not going to be enough. And actually, Chen could be in a little trouble. No stun actually from the Lina. Does not have her ult. Stun up in 1 second. Going to place on the top of this hill. Chen tries to juke it. Does kind of juke the Windrunner power shot, which actually will be enough to save his life for now. Earthshaker Fisher up in 3 seconds, but it will not be close enough to actually do anything with it. Lina, though, wrapping back around, and just said that the Earthshaker actually does land a Fisher combination with the Windrunner to kill off the Crystal Maiden. Chen and Beastmaster both really low here. Will the Chen go down to cold feet? He does. Ancient Apparition also getting pretty low. Malefice stun from the... Whoa. Kind of an unnecessary roar there from the Beastmaster, but they do end up getting the Ancient Apparition kill in the end. And that's a wicked streak. 6 streak for 510 gold. So we'll be happy to get that gold, even if maybe an unnecessary Beastmaster ult was used for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to see, but at the same time, Chaos Knight still farming that bottom lane down there, now up to 82 CS. Morphling trying to farm top as much as he can, but they're putting pressure on that tier 2 tower and then the bottom lane already for bottom.
Yeah, I don't know. They've only taken one tower so far with a Chen. I mean, they did take it, it wasn't denied, so that's certainly a little bit better than it could have been, but still, just haven't really turned that Chen into basically anything. Earthshaker going to land a Fisher here, gets a nice block, Snaking going for the shackle on the board, but didn't really quite have the angle, as much as some might think that is impossible not to have the angle for a shackle shot in Dota 2 with Windrunner, but here that was the case. And yeah, just all basically going to go back to farming now. Ancient Apparition sitting at 1,800 gold, so really close to getting that mech if that is what he decides to go with. Did pick up the urn beforehand. Still, I'm hinging my bets on the mech, but it could be a 4-star.
We see a Sanj come up here on Chaos Knight, so I mean, what route do you think he's going to go? Do you think he's going to go with the Heaven's Halberd, or is he going to go for a Sanj and Yasha, or...?
He's actually going on the Morphling, getting Morphling really low without actually having any mana. Generally speaking, I would assume that's Heaven's Halberd, because Heaven's Halberd is actually a good item, and Sanj and Yasha is a really terrible item. But at the same time, maybe if you're winning by this much, I mean, on Chaos Knight, usually you're going for kind of movement speed, which is why one of the reasons that Manta is good, amongst many others. But I I don't know. You can really go argue either way. My guess is actually going to be the SNY, even though I think it's a worse item. Just I think because he wants that movement speed, and I don't know. I think he figures he can get away with it.
I mean, he has the jumps already. SNY on top of that. I mean, like I said yesterday with Potm Bottom, they are a cocky team. They know when they're ahead. They know what they need to do, and as long as, like I said with the Broodmother yesterday on Aoi 2000, was the same thing. I mean, he just went for that cocky Orchid build instead of going for the BKB.
Yeah, Enigma actually looking to set up a gank here on this Ancient Apparition. Does have full conversions now, so a lot of damage will be coming out. TP coming in from CM will be able to freeze up this Ancient Apparition. Ancient Apparition will go down. He just tries to get a return kill on the Enigma, and Enigma is actually going to die. I don't know why Enigma turned back around there. It would have had enough to kill the Ancient Apparition just with his conversions, and the CM could have just ran into the outpost to the left, but turned back around and ended up paying for it with his life. Might have potentially gone down regardless. I mean, it is a level 2 ult from the Ancient Apparition on top of the Urn Charge, so it's tough to say either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to see here. We see a stun coming in as well on the Chen. Shaco Shot going to latch to the creeps, and Chen ultimate is going to be used to save them.
Yeah, Beastmaster might have been thinking about roaring on the Windrunner there, but decided against it just through the axes instead. And yeah, I don't know. The problem is really, I mean, it's easy to say that none of the heroes have really done anything for TL here because they're not. Oh, and actually, Chaos Knight is going to go on his Morphling, but Morphling just sets up a replicate and turns back away. But yeah, I mean, the Morphling is doing fine, I guess, but the Beastmaster really has not effectively utilized his roar at all, which is why you pick up that hero, and the Chen just hasn't really been effective with ganking early on or pushing towers with those creeps. So, I don't know. I really just kind of wonder about these picks. I mean, it's just that Potm Bottom, I guess, has just done such a good job of shutting them down that they haven't really been able to affect the game in the way that they would like to. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I was completely wrong about what Ancient Apparition was going, but this is definitely what you're talking about, that sort of cockiness. Instead of opting for 4-staff or mech or anything like that, it does pick up a Dagon.
Yep. That's Potm Bottom for you. Once they know they're ahead, they get that cocky mentality and just go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, in theory, Dagon will help him end the game quicker, and it does kind of coordinate with the Ice Vortex. It's just going to pop Chen here. Chen going down to the ultimate. Let's see if they can actually turn around with these creeps on Ancient Apparition. But Ancient Apparition with almost 1,400 health is just going to be way too tanky. He's actually just going to try to stand and fight. Shackle Shot is going to latch the Enigma to the tree, but the roar from the Beastmaster will potentially give enough time to finish off the Ancient Apparition. Wow, Lina ult coming in, 2 heroes so low, and Enigma's actually going to get a big black hole with the CM ult, getting a ton of damage on Potm Bottom there. Earthshaker Fisher comes in, but not in time. So nice coordination there with the CM actually having our ultimate, which maybe sometimes unusual. Chaos Knight actually turning in here as well. Gonna pop his ultimate from the ensnare from Chen. Morphling waveforming after him. Chaos Knight taking a lot of damage here. All the Chen creeps are up. Morphling doing a great job body blocking the Chaos Knight with the replicate. Chaos Knight is forced to turn up, and this will probably be his death. Whoa. Oh my god. Morphling actually just blocked their entire team with the replicate. And this could actually be Chaos Knight's way out of here. He does have a TP. He is just going to try to find a spot and TP from it. And yeah, there's going to be no one to see him. So, wow. I mean, great body blocking from the Morphling, using the replicate to stop the Chaos Knight in the first place, but then decided he wanted to body block his entire team as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that it forced a buyback there from the Windrunner as well. So, I mean, definitely taking some items and gold away from her. By doing that, she wasn't able to get back in time and help out the team, but Chaos Knight did get away. And AA Ultimate is going to be coming in on the mid lane, trying to snipe some people, but not going to be able to get anything as Crystal Maiden is full healed in the base already.
Yeah, Morphling is just going to go back to farming. Morphling, actually, I was going to talk about this a little bit earlier, opting to go for straight Lincolns, didn't even get boots. I mean, Morphling isn't necessarily needing boots early on because he has waveform, which gives him mobility anyway. Although, generally speaking, I think most people are going to pick up treads. Probably before going for Lincolns, but he's opted just for that straight Lincolns, which is going to make it a lot more difficult for him to get killed. I mean, the Chaos Knight won't be able to just initiate on him like you might normally like to, which I guess will give him a little more space to breathe. But speaking of getting initiated on, this Beastmaster just going to melt in the middle here. Dagon plus multiple other abilities enough to take him down, and 21-9 is the score.
Yeah, I mean, Fogged with the cold feet matching up with going for the courier here, trying to nice micro. They're able to get away. Like I was saying there, the cold feet with the help of the Lina stun, and we just see Enigma get melted yet again. Crystal Maiden on the run as well, sneaking, trying to come in on her now, trying to land this shackle shot on the tree. It's up in 2 seconds. He's trying to juke in and out. Lina stun gonna be coming in ultimate as well. Misses the power shot. But Crystal Maiden got to get on. But here comes Morphling. Morphling coming in now. Kizzle's going for the stun. Another shackle shot. Amazing job by sneaking there. And they will just try to morph this. Oh, and Morphling is going to get sent back home by Chen.
Yeah, good play by Chen there. Also managed to pick up the Earthshaker kill with his creeps. Let's see if he can continue this chase on Windrunner, but no, that's going to be a mistake. Windrunner actually going to turn around and throw the Shackle Shot on Chen, but just taking too much damage from the creeps while standing there hitting Chen. Fogged, unfortunately, does not have enough mana to use his Dagon, so can't actually get a kill on Chen here, and is just going to have to back off as the Beastmaster has TP'd in and does have his ultimate. So if he can actually catch up to this Ancient Apparition or Windrunner, but no, that's just not going to happen, and he's just going to have to back up. Nicely placed Ice Vortex, slowing him down.
Meanwhile, Chaos Knight's still just farming up that bottom lane nonstop, up to 130 CS, still 4-0. It was able to get away from that amazing juke.
Yeah, and he did go with the S&Y, actually, in the end. So,
well, I mean, S&Y is good in a case in this chance because later on he could just disassemble and use the Stange for a Heaven's Halberd and use the Yasha for like a Manta style while getting the attack speed and the movement speed early on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is that. I would say it's not. Oh, and actually, speaking of Chaos Knight, he is going to go in on this Beastmaster here. Enigma thinking about turning around here. Does have his ultimate, but doesn't really have a lot of follow-up to go with it. Beastmaster pops the double damage rune, but then just goes down to the Earthshaker for sure. Yeah, I mean, in that regard, it's not too... Oh, no. Chaos Knight not actually done here. It's just going to be rambling in. 4-second stun on the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden might be able to go down, but a nice Chen heal is actually going to save her life. Where's the AA ult? Flying in now. It is going to probably land on the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden actually gets pulled out of the AA ult by the Chaos Knight, but ends up going down to the Chaos Knight anyway. Chaos Knight actually now on the run. Another nice replicate block by Morphling, and they are going to chase after this Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight is just way too fast to chase down. Enigma, will he barely be able to reach him with the Malefice? Actually does. They are going to continue after Morphling, moving into the replicate and waveforming on top of the Chaos Knight. Does pick up the Chaos Knight's mega kill streak for 425 gold. So that is going to be some nice gold there, but in the meantime, Fog just solo pushing top because split pushing AA, why not?
Yeah, already up to 100 CS as well. Taking a look at the experience charts right now, over 8,000. It's about 8,000 experience gain right now for the Radiant, and about 8,000 as well in gold. So Potm with the advantage right now, and the kill advantage up to 25-12 at the moment.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant advantage at this point in the game, so it's really going to take a lot for TL to get back in this. One of these things could be Morphling taking this tower bottom. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a replicate anywhere, and the tower ends up getting denied by the Earthshaker. He could be in a little bit of trouble here, although with that Lincoln's, as well as the ability to morph strength, he's going to probably be survivable enough to get out of here. Waveform should be coming up, but no, actually realizes all the stuns are on cooldown, so just intelligently enough TP's out, just barely in time for the Shackle Shot not to hit him. So nice job, really heads up play there by him, realizing that they wouldn't be able to stun him again with the Earthshaker being out of mana and the Windrunner having used all her stuns.
Yeah, Beastmaster picking up the Vanguard here early on to help deal with some of the physical damage and everything. But we still see Lina just having her mana boots at the moment, just playing the role of the ward. And a Soul Ring up on Windrunner. I haven't seen that in a while. How do you feel about the Windrunner with the Soul Ring?
I would say it's kind of poor. I don't think it's really that optimal in any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Windrunner does need more mana, but I would guess it's just him thinking he can get away with it. I don't imagine he would normally do that in a real game, although I guess I haven't watched them enough. Sentry Ward is actually going to spot him up here. They will actually see him just for a second, yeah, and the Morphling does attack him, actually giving away the fact that they saw him, which might not have been the best decision ever. If he hadn't attacked the Windrunner there, they could have potentially set up a gank on the Windrunner with another Sentry Ward placed down, although I guess there probably aren't any Sentry Wards on any of the heroes that are nearby. And yeah, as far as that Vanguard goes on the... Oh, and actually they are going to go on the Beastmaster here. Beastmaster are going to get shackled. AA ult flying through, Shackle Shot, Power Shot combo. Will the Enigma actually get here in time? Beastmaster just barely going to have enough to survive. Morphling waveforming in, and a lot of burst damage thrown out on Snaking. So nice coordination by the Beastmaster's teammates there, trying to save his life and succeeding in getting a kill in exchange for it. But I was going to say, Vanguard, it's a really late Vanguard. Typically, you only want to get Vanguard very early on because as the game progresses, obviously, heroes just hit for more and more damage, and that deflection just doesn't do as much. But in this case, I guess the survivability is just going to help him against that AA and such. Although, I don't know, going Phase Boots and Vanguard is really unusual Beastmaster build, and I think kind of suboptimal. I would rather, if he really wants the survivability, just pick up a Vitality Booster, which you can much later in the game turn into a Heart if you want to, and go for the Hood instead.
Yeah, it looks like TL going to go for the Roshan kill here, trying to sneak it in while Fogged and everybody else is top lane right now. Going to be able to put it on the Morphling and make it very extra strong here because the team fight is going to help out dramatically.
Yeah, A ult is going to fly in and scout this out, but it's going to be too little too late for the Radiant here. So nice rush steal. Ooh, actually almost the A ult getting the kill. That would have certainly been exciting, but didn't actually manage. Still, though, only 2 tier 2 towers left for the Dire here, and while the mid one is pretty low, the top one's still full health, so despite all Fog split pushing, really hasn't had the opportunity to do a lot of chip damage to the tower. But he is already level 16. And meanwhile, it looks like there's going to be action mid. Beastmaster Roar coming out of the Windrunner. Malphus is off, but Earthshaker already has his blink. Blinks in, gets a huge ultimate. Lina ult as well, going to finish off one more hero. Enigma does get a big black hole, but we'll see if it's enough with half of his team already dead. And it is not going to be. Enigma will go down as well, and that is a 4-for-0 trade, thanks to an amazing initiation from Earthshaker, regardless of Enigma's nice black hole. And yeah, Morphling ends up just getting out of there. Shackle Shot is going to hit him in the base. But the Radiant is going to push in this tier 2 tower mid, and I would assume they're going to keep going for tier 3 in the base, and maybe even Rax, depending on how much time they have.
And this is the fact of leaving that Chaos Knight out for Potm to pick up here. I mean, he's just way too strong of a character to let go through and let your opponent pick up.
Yeah, going on the Morphling here, I don't think they should do that. They kind of understand the Morphling is just trying to distract them, but they will still get this tower regardless. I wonder whether they will try to hang around in the base. I think that might be a little bit questionable with 4 heroes up, but I guess they know that there is no Enigma ult. Morphling is going to waveform in, though. He's trying to make them pay for their mistake, but a good AA ult. Dagon actually finishing off the Chen, who immediately buys back. Nice Shackle Shot, latching the Morphling to the Crystal Maiden. Earthshaker blinking in, getting a stun off. Morphling is going to pop, but we'll be back up in a second with the Aegis. AA trying to finish off that Beastmaster in coordination with Chaos Knight. Will it barely just not be enough? Chaos Knight will be able to Reality Rift in 1 second, though, and yeah, it finishes him off. Meanwhile, on the other side, Morphling and Enigma running after Windrunner. Windrunner, ooh, the Shackle Shot is not going to latch because of the Lincolns. Meanwhile, Ancient Apparition is going to get Malphus up. Does Chen have another Test of Faith in 5 seconds here, which should be enough to finish off Fog. Fog going to try to juke through the trees here, but there's really not a whole lot he can do. And Test of Faith, no, actually, the Adaptive Strike is going to push him into it. No, all right. He doesn't actually have a TP, so he couldn't just TP out from there. Had to try running anyway, and Chen does end up finishing him off.
Yeah, meanwhile, Chaos Knight was able to destroy that tower, get the last hit gold for it mid. He has up to 5,000 gold at the moment. Looking at GPMs, Chaos Knight's GPM at the moment, 498, 467 on the Ancient Apparition, and 373 is the leader for the Dire team with the Morphling.
Yeah, I mean, 10k gold advantage over, well, over 10k, no, actually, well, just jumped up a lot. Looking at a 14k gold advantage for the Radiant here. Which is pretty, I wouldn't say insurmountable, but pretty extremely difficult to come back from. And I don't know, we'll have to see. The Morphling really, I mean, just has Lincolns at this point. I would have to guess he's going to go for Ethereal Blade next to try to complete that shotgun as quickly as possible, because they really don't have the time to wait for him to go Manta and kind of split pushing farming build. If he doesn't get the Ethereal and isn't able to burst down some key heroes for bottom early in fights, they really have no chance of turning him, unless Enigma can get some more great black holes. Enigma has gotten really good black holes all game, actually, but unfortunately most of the time his team just hasn't had been in position to follow up. They've all been dead already, except for the one really nice time with the CM ult. So, I mean, maybe that will be what kind of holds them in this game. We'll have to see. Morphling actually does pick up the Ghost Scepter, though, so he is going for that Ethereal Blade. Now 2,200 gold off from finishing it up with an Eagle Song.
Yeah, and I mean, AUI 2000 right now currently picked up his heart as well with that 5k gold that we just saw. Now they're going to try to push this top tier 2 tower. Going to have some defense here by the Dire team, and going to have to see if they can do anything here. I mean, we have the Enigma ult is up, but last time it was a 4-for-0 trade with that black hole, so we're going to have to see a little bit better initiation here by the Dire team.
And AUI 2000 going to pop his ultimate, going to look to Reality Rift in on one hero. That hero will immediately die. The Reality Rift just barely getting canceled on Chen. Nice AoE slow from Crystal Maiden, saving Chen's life, but she is going to pay for it with her own one shot with the Reality Rift. I mean, that's just the insane amount of damage he can do with that at this point in the game. He is going to get another Reality Rift in here on Chen, or at least tries to, but AA is quick to snatch the kill with the Dagon, and they are going to push down this top tier 1 tower now. Unfortunately, the Chaos Knight illusions are worn out, but it won't really matter. Even with the backdoor protection, they're going to be able to take this down, well, probably quickly enough. I mean, Chaos Knight could tank this till infinity with that heart, so...
And Fog does pick up his Scythe of Ice. He's going to have that Sheep Stick now, currently 12, 4, and 10 on that AA mid.
Yeah, the AA has really paid off for them well. Shackle Shot Yeah, Snake just playing as aggressive as possible. Chaos Knight going to Reality Rift in 3 seconds stun. AL going to fly in as well. Hits Hasu as well as the Morphling who TPs in. Hasu is going to be able to walk out of this, and I think, yeah, he is going to survive. AL is not going to pop him. We'll have to head back to the fountain and come back out. Enigma getting another huge black hole. Morphling, will he be able to do enough damage? No, just not enough damage in time. Enigma has gotten awesome black holes all game, but has just had not enough DPS coming out from the rest of his team to follow up. With the exception, obviously, of the one time with Crystal Maiden. Beastmaster is going to get a stun off on AUI 2000, AUI 2000, whatever. Earth Shaker Fisher, though, is going to prevent basically any follow-up. We'll have to see, can they catch up to anyone? Nice shackle shot from Snaking, latching Crystal Maiden to the Morphling. Beastmaster still running after with no ult, and his Boar on cooldown can't really do anything. AUI 2000 thinking about turning around on him. Chen, intelligently enough, TPing back to Beastmaster. Beastmaster not able to get out one more set of axes before being TP'd back. Morphling going to waveform after Lina. Lina is going to go down, and now they are going to turn on this Windrunner. Windrunner's Windrun is off, but at the same time, AUI 2000 just destroying this Crystal Maiden. One more hit will be enough, but unfortunately the Ice Imprisonment was able to hold him in. Will the Adaptive Strike be enough to keep AUI 2000? AUI 2000, God, it's so tough to switch to that now. Yeah. No, and he ends up going down, but a nice snipe from Windrunner on the Crystal Maiden at the same time. So, yeah, the push is held off thanks to another great black hole from the Enigma, but I don't know how long the Enigma can keep doing this.
Yeah, I mean, Enigma had a great black hole again there. I mean, getting almost every single one of the heroes in there. But, I mean, just doesn't have the power and the damage behind him to be able to outlast that Chaos Knight. And, I mean, we even see Lina picking up a Vladimir's offering just to help out the Chaos Knight.
Yeah, I mean, that'll also give them a nice amount of armor for pushing into the base here. +5 armor on the creeps will make it even easier for them to go high ground, especially in the mid here where there isn't even a tower, which I assume is what they're going to be doing pretty soon here. I mean, Roche still has a few minutes left on the timer, so I don't see why they would wait for anything else. They're actually going to smoke up and look for a gank. Going to wait until the Chaos Knight actually respawns before they actually try anything in the base. So this is a perfect time to smoke up and look for picking someone off, and that someone just might be this Chen here. Earthshaker Illusion, though, will scare him off, and he is going to back out of there. So Windrunner is going to look for a Shackle Shot on the Crystal Maiden mid. Should just shackle the conversion, but Crystal Maiden actually runs off to the side. Earthshaker Fisher is going to come off, shackling him to the tree, but actually doesn't latch. Power Shot does take Crystal Maiden down a little bit, and Earthshaker not able to get in position to finish him off. But actually, no, I guess the stun did actually count there, and Crystal Maiden goes down even despite getting a nice Frostbite on the Windrunner to almost save her own life.
Yep, we see an ultimate coming top lane now too. Hasu is going to get probably hit with that as well. But looks like AA just going to be farming the rest of the mid, trying to push in and take those middle racks.
Yeah, and I assume AUI 2000 will head towards that mid as soon as possible. Fogged can't really do this by himself, so gotta assume the support is coming in. And yeah, AUI 2000 as well as Snaking running towards the mid. Snaking already has the Pipe and Force Staff as well as a Void Stone towards that Hex, so his farm has kind of skyrocketed up pretty quickly. I guess thanks to the farming with that Soul Ring. Being able to just spam power shots that much more. Fogged kind of playing a little bit far forward here, but no, yeah, Chaos Knight is going to pop the ult and just going to run in and look to be able to Reality Rift someone down, and if not, just completely take down this Amelie Rax in no time at all. They are actually trying to take down his illusions as quickly as possible. The illusions really don't get on that quickly when you have a heart. Fortification does come up from the Dire here, and they are going to hold this Melee Rax just a little bit longer. Windrunner actually going to be gone on, but that is a terrible target for the Dire to focus on. 2-second stun only on the Morphling. Meanwhile, Beastmaster does get the roar off on Snaking. Earthshaker, another pretty big Fisher, but another
black hole!
Enigma. Only going to catch 2 this time, but thanks to the BKB, does get a full duration one off, and basically both teams are just going to be first back. Crystal Maiden, is she fast enough to get away? And the Reality Rift just not barely pulling the Enigma back in, but there it is. Finally gets it, and the Laguna Blade will finish off the Enigma, so 3 heroes down, and the GG Wellplates come out from Team Luskus. Looks like we will be going to a second game with Potm up 1. Fireflash, there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just going to go to game number 2 here between Potm and Team Luskus, and we will get that right in here right after we're done.
Alright, yeah, we will just hang in here, obviously, until the score screens come up, just you guys can see that. Meanwhile, watching the AA try to farm the fountain with an ult on the Chen, as well as the rest of his team just taking out all the buildings. Legendary Attention Whore gets a shout out from Snaking. Have to wonder who that would be. Apparently, the person himself will know. And yeah, we are going to have a Fountain Dive here. 2-hit on the Crystal Maiden from AUI 2000 on that Chaos Knight. Just showing the crazy amount of damage the Chaos Knight is capable of putting out as the game progresses. Especially if you consider that he can do even more when he gets Reality Rift on someone. Hopefully they will just finish off the Ancient here, though.
Yeah.
Before diving the fountain too much more, so we can actually go into the next game, which should be a little bit more exciting than farming 3 disconnected heroes.
Yep, so Potm going to take game number 1 here. It brings them 1 game closer to the $150 prize, as well as the invitation to our $10,000 invitational.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's ancient is under attack. Dire's top tower is radiant victory.